Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey, Silas.
Hey, what's going on, James?
Nothing much. How you doing tonight, Silas?
Oh, man, I'm all right. Just maintaining, man, winding down. Enjoy the day of football and just hanging out. What's going on with you?
Uh, just right here, knocking out all these calls. I've been on since 4 p.m. I had David come in. He jumped on for 2 hours. Then I had Ricky jump on for an hour, and then well, now it's you. Just I know I haven't been on for quite some time. Pretty much, I fell off for like a week or so. So hitting the round or the ground running right now.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm the nightcap, huh?
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good, man.
Yeah, man.
What's up?
Just figuring all this stuff out and trying to make it work as best as possible. And luckily, my wife, she's really supportive. When it comes to this, and she sees the vision in it. So that's really big on on her part, and I do appreciate it.
That's what's up, man. You gotta have that support, man. Gotta have that support. That's a must.
So I know since the last time we talked, uh, normally we'll set something up, and this is kind of like a last minute type of thing. But I was thinking
Right.
about maybe like you sharing what the atmosphere or how's normally the holidays around in prison.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
If you wouldn't mind sharing prison experience around the holidays. I'm pretty sure uh you I mean, I know when I was in juvenile detention or in county jail, holidays, it was kind of like everybody's kind of like down and whatnot, just because your family is getting together out on the street, and you're unfortunately behind bars, and you can't attend these festivities. So you tend to miss out on all those holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving, uh, Christmas, and New Year. So I'm sure you could definitely shed some light on that. And you've been away for quite some time, so I don't think it ever gets easy, especially
Yeah.
around the holidays.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, the holidays are definitely a tricky time, living incarcerated. I mean, I'm coming up on 23 years in here, and like you said, it never gets any easier, you know. I mean, for every holiday, whether it be Christmas or Thanksgiving, or you know, or Easter, or even Memorial Days, or Fourth of July. It's just those are times where families congregate and they come together, and you pretty much catch up with everybody because everybody's off doing their own thing, and when I know for me, when I call home, everybody's usually at the house, my brother's house, or my aunt's house, and everybody's there, and you know it's yeah, it's it's a lonely time. It can be a lonely time, a depressing time. You know, um, it's kind of funny that for all the things that we've done in here, to take ourselves away from our families, in times like the holidays, we got Thanksgiving coming up this weekend, and I mean, you know, these are the times, where, you want nothing but, the simplicity of just being with your family and being able to share a meal, or, a conversation, or see, your nephews and nieces who've grown a little bit. And so, yeah, it can definitely be difficult this time of year. Um, my early my earlier years in prison, particularly, it was really difficult because of the newness of just carrying a life sentence and trying to figure out like how I was gonna live in prison for the rest of my life potentially. That was a prospect back then. So it was extremely difficult because you're fresh from home, and everybody is you're not too far removed away from everything that's going on out there. You're still semi current with everything and with everybody. So you're trying to keep that connection, that relevancy, if you will, with your family out there. And as time passes, that connection fades, and not necessarily maliciously, but just due to the fact that that you're gone, and life goes on, and kids are still growing up, and you're not there. And it's crazy. My nephew, he just had a baby shower the other day. He's having a little boy, and my youngest nephew, his younger brother, is 18, 19. He just graduated high school recently, and my brother had told him that the other day was my birthday, and he said, "Yeah, today is your Uncle Silas' birthday," and he was like, "Who?" Like, I've been gone so long that, he's just, I mean, he's used to me not being around. My other nephews and nieces, I've had the opportunity to actually be with them out there, but he was born when I was in here, so, for all intents and purposes, I'm just some abstract, person to him, so, I mean, it's a trip, as time removes you from your family, from people out there. You kind of get used to the normalcy of being in here, and for 10 years probably, holidays, I just blocked them out. Normally people cook in here, they'll spread and do stuff, if you have your group of fellas together, you guys will do your own thing in here for the holidays, but for 10 years, I was having none of it. I didn't want to talk to you about it. I didn't, I just secluded myself in my cell, and when it passed, then because that was kind of like a defense mechanism from just all of the depression and sadness that comes from being in this place, and realizing that as the years fall away, you're becoming more and more of a non-participant in memory and in presence in your family's life,
Sorry about that. I had my microphone on mute, just in case my daughter walks in, because she'll do that from time to time. She'll come and check on what I'm doing over here, and she'll ask me like, "Hey, like, who, Papa? Who you talking to? Why is he in jail?" And it's kind of how am I gonna explain this to my 5-year-old? She don't understand. So she likes to check up on me. It's kind of cute, those moments. She's so
Yeah,
young, but yeah, no, and
absolutely, man.
I could I definitely see that happening. Where you didn't want to participate with any of the holiday festivities while incarcerated for the first 10 years, because yeah, uh, you know, you're not with the people that you want to be with. Obviously you've been pulled out of society, and you're in a whole different world. So, um, and then is there any difference between the main line and where you're at now, as far as like how everybody um, gets around the holidays, or is it pretty much just the same? Do you see any difference between there and here?
Uh, I would say it's pretty much the same. Obviously you have the political facade over there, but besides that, it's pretty much the same. At the end of the day, we're all people in here, and trying to get by, and trying to handle this situation, make the best out of a bad situation, and the same sort of practices occur, the same rituals or traditions occur. You find a group of people that you have an affinity for, and you guys you know celebrate how you guys celebrate. So yeah, I wouldn't say that there's any difference. Actually, there's no difference.
And let me ask you, who makes the best holiday food, or what's the best holiday dish that you come across while being in there and celebrating the holidays?
Uh, let's see. Probably probably like tamales. Like I really I had a buddy used to make some fire tamales. Like I mean like killer. Like for real. And I never got the recipe from him. I wish I would have got it. Like it was ridiculous. Um, Gumbo. I've had some pretty decent gumbo. In fact, a youngster asked me to cook some gumbo the other day. He told me he was going to send the stuff over. I told him to hold off. I'll think about it because like it's a task. You know what I mean? It's like really a task, and so I was thinking about doing it for Thanksgiving, but the jury's still out. But I can throw down and make some pretty good gumbo.
Man, hopefully you do, cause man, I gotta go work on Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be pulling a 10-hour shift, so hopefully you go ahead and
Man,
enjoy it for both of us, cause by the time I get home, I'll be lucky if I get a piece of turkey. Everything's gonna should be gone by the time I get home. I'm gonna be out the game for the whole day. So
yeah, man, that's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
I sacrifice Thanksgiving. I figured, because I gotta work one of the holidays, so it's either Thanksgiving, New Year's, or Christmas. So I was like, man, I'd rather be home on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So I'll take the hit on Thanksgiving.
absolutely, absolutely, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. You getting in for your family, working hard, man. So man, that's where all of us want to be at. At least those of us that are mature and have a vision, man. We want to be out there grinding for our families like you doing it, man.
Man, I'm trying, man. My mind's always working. I'm always trying to come up with new ideas, new ways to improve myself, or improve the quality of life for my family. So I'm always is constant. It's always constant. That never changes. So that's my main focus. My family, my household, and avoiding any conflicts with my wife at all costs. Which is kind of hard to do sometimes. Because I'm a bit of a knucklehead.
We all got it in us, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, you have a really good foundation there, man, and that's what's important, man. That's what every man wants. It's just a good foundation, man. I've been fortunate, man, that I've had my family with me throughout this journey, and I've been fortunate enough to have people stand by me and to have the love of people that matter the most to me. So yeah, I definitely feel that, man. I mean, you gotta try. Just keep your household in.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Man, she just says with that 60 seconds,
Man,
man.
everything
She
else
she, she
falls in
always
place.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
right now, before the call gets cut off, Elias man just asked a question right here, and he wants to know, what's your favorite gift or your Christmas gift as a kid? And I'll go ahead and let you think about that.
Okay,
I know. So if you want to go ahead and give us a call back, and then go ahead and provide us with that answer.
absolutely.
All right, perfect. The call just went ahead and got cut off. We hit that 15-minute mark, and you know how that goes. She don't wait. So As soon as you pass that 15 minutes, she's definitely gonna drop the call, which doesn't make any sense if you think about it, because they got unlimited calls. I would understand if you're using the phone on the wall, then yeah, I know they got a list or whatnot for facilities that currently don't have any tablets. But in this case, the tablets, I feel they should be able to talk as long as you can.
Call is now being
This is
recorded.
Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right, Silas, thank you for calling us back, and the mic's all yours.
All right. The best Christmas present I've ever received. Huh. Probably a BMX bike. Probably a BMX bike when I was like in the third or fourth grade. We lived in Vegas and my mom bought us bikes and we used to go out to the desert and like we had like makeshift ramps and like just dirt hills that we used to jump over and like I mean I back then I mean I'm 46 so back then they had the BMX movie Rad out back in the day and yeah like so we saw that and we just went nuts in the desert just trying to jump over everything and man I got probably 100 heel cuts and scars on my legs, my shins from falling off of the pegs and having the metal pedal dig into my shin. So yeah, like that BMX bike, those bikes that we had. I mean, we put some mileage on those. That was probably it definitely was the best Christmas present ever.
Man, you straight brought the memories back when you brought up Rad and the BMX. Man, I remember like if you wanted to be cool, you
Yeah,
definitely need to have either a mongoose or a GT.
yeah. I had a red line. You remember those?
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was what was up back then, man. So those were pretty cool memories, man.
And shout out
Definitely.
to Elias, man, for asking uh, uh, I guess a question that you wouldn't normally ask on a prison podcast. And that's what we're trying to do
Yeah,
here. We're trying to get away from the normal stereotypical conversations and whatnot. Trying to bring a little bit, a little different twist, and whatnot, because there's other things that happen in prison besides violence and all those things that come along with prison, and definitely trying to shed some light on those activities that are not I would say not prison related, or your normal prison related activities.
yeah. And that's a good point. And yeah, what's up, Ice? Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I appreciate your question. I mean, that's that's kind of what the mission statement is overall. To besides educating people, and bringing them into our world, if you will, is to humanize, all of these men that are in here, including myself, and you know, people weren't, all of us weren't born in prison. We came from society where we have, you know, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, children, and best friends, and teachers, and and dreams that that we still have. So yeah, so definitely appreciate that, man. And we do want to, help, humanize people who are incarcerated as opposed to, just the run of the mill, just
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
the run of the mill, shoot 'em up, bang bang. Everybody has a story, but stories are more complex than just the violence or the criminality inside of them. There's the why too. So yeah. So thank you for that.
And you know what? I'm gonna share with you what experience that I had in camp. My first camp program, I went to Camp Scudder, and I was there. I think in 90, what was it, 97? I was doing my first camp program, and I was there during the holidays. And I remember there was an outside organization that came in, and they provided us with little like little care packages. And there was like a little like a little tiny bar of lever 2000, a little bar, like the super miniature one. It
Yeah,
wasn't even like, it was like not even a quarter of a regular sized one, but stuff like that, when you don't have anything, you really appreciate it. And that's one of those memories that whenever I think back, man, it really stuck with me. That bag also had a little chapstick, and and things of that nature. And it's that's been over 20 years, and I still carry that memory, because like I said, when you don't have anything, little things like that do, they do mean a lot.
yeah, they definitely do, man. And only people who are just as impacted can really understand, like what that really means. Like you know, um, it's if you've been through this experience, then you can you can relate to all of the nuances, and just the emotional aspects. Like you said, like that means something when you don't have anything, and somebody comes and gives you, something, and it's just based purely on benevolence. That it just that means everything, and it teaches you a whole new sense of gratitude, and and hopefully, that sense of gratitude and wonder that you and respect for your own freedom is what you use to keep you from committing, acts that put you in situations like this in the first place.
Yeah, and I could definitely relate. It's not easy, changing your life, when you're used to, doing whatever you want, and not being held accountable. I lived like that for many
Yeah,
years. Obviously, I didn't gangbang, or I wasn't into drugs and violence, but the things I was committing, I was doing shoplifting and graffiti and vandalism. It put me in places where I came into contact with people like that. So it didn't matter. There wasn't just I would end up in the tiger dorms. Nah, I'm gonna end up with the gangbangers and the killers, and all that good stuff. So but at that time, I wasn't
yeah,
even thinking about all that. That was the farthest thing in my mind. And being incarcerated and being away from my family was just part of the game. We were just playing different games, and ultimately, it ended up me, going to the same places where these people were. So, after I had countless arrests. I would say maybe from like the age of 10 up until like I was 20, I probably had maybe like 14 arrests. I would easily average one arrest a year. Maybe some years when I would get lucky, I would do two arrests a year. And finally one day I woke up and I was like, man, I don't want to deal with this. It's like I'm going to jail, and it's not the same, like from going being in juvenile detention to once you start hitting county jail. You got to start listening to people whether you like it or not, or else you got something else coming your way. And I realized that I didn't want to deal with that anymore. I was like, man, like this isn't for me. It's not what it is. It's not the business that I wanted to be involved in. But ultimately, realizing that thing, realizing that by the age of 21, that I didn't want to continue, going down that path. Um, uh, Pretty much opened my eyes, and I'm
yeah,
here. I'm here where I'm at now, and I could relate to some of what you guys say. Not everything, but uh, um, I guess me starting this podcast is a way of giving back. Because even though I didn't participate in certain things, I influenced certain people, and they they took off and ran with it, and obviously ended up in prison. So me starting this podcast and possibly touching somebody, and possibly helping them not go down that path is my way of kind of like I guess trying to fix what I did. You know, the influence that I had on certain people when I was growing up.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, and it's easy to, like you said, it's easy to continue with, you know, with bad behavior when there aren't any consequences. You know, it's once the consequences begin to hit you, then then it's a different ball game. I mean, I was just thinking when you were talking about, that once you're in the halls, in camp, like, you pretty much, have a sense of autonomy, but then, your county jail and in prison, you pretty much, you have to follow some kind of rank and file. And the irony is that, criminality is based on, like, I would say not the, the traditional conventions of anarchy, but I mean, it's a loose fit of anarchy, and then, like, the nihilism, and then when you come in here, like, you follow.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Everyone is in prison for not following the social contract or the rules of society, and then we come into prison and then we create all of these rules for ourselves. It's just the irony of that. It's just hilarious. Um, yeah, but it's a trip, man, and it's definitely not worth it venturing into, man. Just to, I mean, if you could get the game from somebody and get somebody else's point of view about what this place is, or what gangland culture and criminality is really about, then yeah, I take it from someone else before I came in here to find out for myself.
Yeah, and putting ourselves in these situations or those type of situations, it's insane if you really think back. The things that you kind of go through, just even from getting processed into county jail. The process takes like a day or two, and it's crazy. And you think about it, I think I hit like county like 3 4 times, and you would think that I wouldn't want to go through something like that. Ending up in that, and they leave you in these tanks for hours. You get there, and there's a bunch of people sitting down. People stink, dirty. They might have a fecal matter on them. It's just bananas, and and then to top it off, you got to go take a shower, and the drains don't even work, and you got water up to your knees, and it's not like you could get shower shoes. It's a recipe for for what is it, athlete's feet in there, and then I
Yeah,
mean,
like,
yeah.
I mean, just look at the processing for the LA County Jail, right? Like, you go in, like you said, you, once you hit the desk, you go in, you start getting processed. They take all of your clothes, right? So they take all of your clothes and they give you these nasty, funky clothes that, like, who knows how many people have worn before you. And then or before they do that, you go in the shower, like you said, with no shower shoes, no nothing, in this nasty shower, and you disrobe in front of like 50 other men who are sitting right outside watching the movie, because it's like a processing line, right? You go to this station, you go to that station, so it's like all of you are moving, like you said, and you do that. I mean, which is humiliating and unsanitary, and then you go sit in the holding tank with 80 to 100 people in a small room where, like you said, I mean, shout out to the homeless people, but I mean, like, I've been in holding cells with some people who just were ripe. I mean, on fire, burning your nose hair on fire. Like, and they got their shoes off, their feet oil black, like, I mean, and they trying to see what's up with every lunch that comes through the door. So, and then you go from there to whatever floor. Like, I went to the 9,000 floor, which was probably one of the more dangerous places back then before they closed down the modules, and just, I mean, it's just insane. It's a zoo. It's a zoo. Like, the Central Men's Jail is a zoo. Like, and to go through all of that, like you said, for someone to go through that and to get out, and to say, you know what, I think I'm gonna go stick somebody up. You have to be insane.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Hey, Silas, but you know what the cherry on the top is. You know when they X-ray your chest for tuberculosis, and then they make you do the nuts to butts.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I mean, that whole process is dehumanizing. But it's purposely drawn up like that. It's to psychologically put you in the place of subservience. It's not just a security preventive measure. It's to let you know that you're here to do what you're told. Period. Point blank. At all times, and they degrade you and take you down to the lowest common denominator, and then you're ready to follow instructions. It's like kind of like the military.
Yeah, yeah, that's the best way to put it right there. All right, so the call went ahead and got cut off because we hit that 15-minute mark. He should be calling us back shortly, and I do see that we do have a question from LA analyst. So as soon as he jumps back on, I'll go ahead and ask him. I believe it's a question. Yeah. Um, so as soon as he calls back, I'll definitely make sure that I read off that question to you or to him, and then you'll get your answer. And I really appreciate it. I haven't seen you in here in the last few lives and whatnot. Hopefully everything's going good with you.
Call is now being recorded. Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right, Silas, thank you for calling back. So right before the call got cut off, we actually had a question from LA analyst, and they're asking Silas, if you were home for the holidays, how do you imagine the Thanksgiving and Christmas like?
Um, wow. Ah, that's a good question. Um, wow. I guess it would be kind of like a different form. I mean, my when I conceptualize like Christmas or Thanksgiving, I mean, I see it, with the family, with my family, as it was when I was 23. So, and that's changed. My father's passed away. My, you know, my brothers, everyone like has their own families. So like, I just, I was just, actually, it's funny. I was just talking about this with my girlfriend earlier, and we were talking about like how families, like you start out as your mom, your dad, your brothers and sisters, and then, as you grow up, everybody leaves the house, and then they go out and they have their own families, and then, like, so, everybody's having, my brother may have Thanksgiving at his house, I may have Thanksgiving in my house, so like, so my, my, I guess my image of what, the holidays would look like would be different now because everyone is older now, and it's not like you got to go to mom and dad's house, like no, I'm at my house with my family having my Thanksgiving, and so I don't know. I think it's most likely it'd probably just end up being me and my girlfriend together, and and our kids, I guess, if they attended, I think that's what it would probably look like.
Thank you for answering that, and I'm gonna share something with you. Prior to me getting with my wife, in my household, we didn't. My mom didn't celebrate, like holidays and birthdays and whatnot. So, but my wife's family, they're big on it. They're big. So for the first few years, it was kind of hard for me, to get accustomed, to all of them getting together and being all happy and joyous and whatnot. And my wife couldn't understand, why I wasn't big on these things. But now, now that it's kind of grown on me now, I look forward, to participating in whether it's birthdays and holidays and whatnot. It you have like this connection with other people, and it's really nice, getting together and eating and having their mom, cook food and whatnot. So really appreciate, my wife, for being persistent, when it came to that, because I was very stubborn when it came to, I would try to avoid, going over to their house or whatever. And my wife, she's very persistent when it comes to things like that. So I want to go ahead and thank my wife for opening my eyes when it comes to, being around your family during the holidays.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah, it's it's interesting. Like your idea of what family is, and and your role. I think it changes. It changes as you grow older, and you kind of understand the importance of these people who are you know who you haven't chosen, but they're nonetheless they're they're woven into the fabric of who you are, and trying to navigate that. And it's I mean, families are complicated. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody. I'd like to think that all of us come from our own individual brand of dysfunction. I mean, all families are dysfunctional in their own, in their own ways. So, it's it's a task to try and overcome, that obstacle, and to be healthy in your communication and in your treatment of each other. So, yeah, I think it's it's a good thing to be able to to kind of put into perspective the importance of family, and because I mean, at the end of the day, your family, they're going to be the ones that support you when the bottom falls out of life and things fall apart. Everybody else is going to scatter and run, like ants. But your family, these are the people who have a vested interest in you succeeding. And so, yeah, I definitely have grown a new appreciation for family, especially during this tenure in prison.
And do you think your family, you've gotten closer to your family ever since you were incarcerated?
Uh, some it's a mixed bag. Um, some of my family members, we don't even talk anymore. And when I come home, I'll probably see them at my mom's house, or my brother's house, and I'll be respectful and say, hey, what's up? I'm not mad at anybody. I mean, I essentially remove myself from society and being an active participant in the family. I have my own viewpoints on hey, like you could have said, hey, just what's up, or sent the cards and something, like, and just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. But I mean, that's life, you know. And other family members, particularly my brother. My brother and I were really close growing up, and our relationship has gotten stronger. He's been an ally. He's been a best friend. He's been a support system. He's been here for me the whole time. So that relationship has gotten stronger. But I have two other brothers where our relationship is not as close as my one of my brothers, and but I mean, that's okay.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I think that's kind of the progression of life. I think that as life moves on, who the relationships that are that are best for you and that are most important to you, they'll reveal themselves, and the ones that aren't necessarily, I don't think that there should be any bitterness, in because the relationship isn't what you wanted. Or I think if you don't like something, or if you're not satisfied with something, then you should try and change it if it's worth it. And if it's not, then I mean, why complain about it anyway?
Yeah, absolutely. And Iceman just a few moments or a few minutes ago dropped a question, and I definitely don't want to ignore his question. I want to go ahead and read this
Okay.
off to you. So he wants to know. So while you were on the active side, did you ever witness another race check a friend? I guess like when like if you had a Hispanic friend or a white friend, and they came up to you and they embraced you, and then their people wouldn't be too happy about that, and that would get checked. Did you ever witness anything like that where anybody had I guess like a bad outcome?
Yeah, that. Uh, well, not necessarily bad outcome. When I was Salinas Valley Sea Yard in 2002, one of my buddies from Pacoima, Robert, he was from the Van Nuys Boys, and when I saw him on the yard, we were on lockdown when I first got there because they were searching. So maybe this was approximately three weeks to a month later when we got off of lockdown, and this is like my first yard. So I went out to the yard, and I'm walking the track, and I'm walking, and he walks by, and I see the Vic 12 700 on his chest, and I know the tattoo from for a while, and so I looked up and I seen his face, and I was like, I was standing there with one of my older homies, and he walked up, and when he looked up, he saw me, and he like was surprised, and he started smiling, and so I instantly just went and hugged him, and everybody was standing there looking. I didn't really pay it any attention, and so I was like, hey, what's up, man? What's up, man? What building are you in? The whole thing. How long have you been here? And so the guy that he was walking with, it was a Southerner he was walking with, he was like just standing there, just looking the whole time during the exchange. And I didn't realize it, but they were walking the track, and this was our bar area. So I had stopped him in our area, which was a no-no. And so, but
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm new to prison. I barely know who the hell's bars is what, and what race, and what car is here, and what So we talked for a couple of minutes, and he was looking at his homeboy, and I could tell that he was like feeling uncomfortable. So I just kind of took the cue, and I was like, okay, yeah, all right, man. Well, I'll talk to you, man. I'll send you a kite over there. And they walked off. And my older homie David was standing there, and he asked me to walk with him. And so we started walking the track, and we were probably like 100 yards behind them. And he was like, yeah, man, you know, did anybody tell you about that? And I was like, what? He's like, what you just did. And I was like, well, what did I do? And he was like, well, yeah, you just hugged the old boy. And I was like, well, yeah, that's my friend. And he was like, yeah, but he's a Southerner. I was like, well, I don't give a shit about that. That's my friend. And he was like, yeah, well, you can, it's all right for us, but you can get him in trouble. And I was like, what do you mean, get him in trouble? How? And he was like, he can get regulated for that because, they're not supposed to do that, They're not supposed to share food with us. They're not supposed to, like, we're not supposed to, like, hug or have contact like that. And I've never been a racist in my life, and I'm still not a racist. But hearing that and knowing that this is the way that they thought about me and my people, it made me angry because I didn't look at Robert as somebody that was Mexican, like a Mexican dude or a Southerner, or like I've known this dude since I was like 7. Like, this is my friend. Like, before we were even gang members, So knowing that prison was rife with that kind of ignorance and hatred, it helped sour me and get me prepared for this experience. in prison.
And after that, did you have any other interactions with him, or was that the extent of your interactions with him?
I talk to him all the time. He moved to my building. We kicked it all the time. Like, you know, I I subverted that shit and he subverted it, and we were chilling. We weren't walking the track every day together, but I'd go over to his cell. He'd come over to my cell all the time, and like, you know, we kind of skirted the rules.
All right. Yeah. I remember this one time when I was up in I was in Wayside, and where that unit was really loose, where the Hispanics were interacting in ways that I had never seen in any other units, where they were sharing food and playing basketball. Um, but things like that normally don't last too long, especially when the word gets out. And on that bus, when I ended up going down there, they had sent some youngsters with me, and we were pretty much the same age, but I was totally oblivious to the reasoning that they were going down there for. And I think like my first day, like the first day I landed, they ended up
You have 60 seconds remaining.
putting me into a work dorm, or a kitchen dorm. And when I came back, they removed everybody that was in there that was participating in anything like that. And I was tripping out on the whole situation, because I had never been anywhere like that, where blacks and Hispanics got along really really good, but outside forces were definitely intervening in that and preventing it from happening at all costs. So it was really really interesting, seeing,
Yeah.
experiencing and seeing something like that.
Well, that um, I'll give you a call back and we
Okay,
can
sounds good.
kind
All
of
right,
touch.
we'll be here. All right, so we went ahead and hit that 15-minute mark, and he should be calling us back shortly. I really appreciate, you guys are tuning in. And right now we're currently working on bringing in some new guests, bringing in some different point of views from within the California Department of Corrections. So hopefully, we're able to bring those guests in here sooner than later. I've been. Oh, there we go.
This call is now being
This
recorded.
is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right, Silas, thank you for calling us
Yeah.
back.
All right. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, that's kind of interesting that, like, that, all that is, right, is just a form of social control. Like, it's a form of manipulation and and ultimately abuse in mass quantities. I mean, I like we were talking. I was talking to David earlier and Jesse on the yard, and you know we had touched on like the whole pathology of gangland culture. And I mean, looking back, being a gang member is like, in essence, like having Stockholm syndrome or being in an abusive relationship, right? Like in an abusive relationship, you may have a partner who is being physically, emotionally, or even sexually abused, and there's the tension building, there's the explosion, and then there's the honeymoon phase where the abuser is, oh, so sorry, they'll never do it again, this, that, and the third, and for those moments of tenderness or whatever the victim is receiving, it's enough psychologically to keep them hopeful that things will actually change and get better, and this is the person that they'll be with going forward. Well, I liken that to being a gang member. Being a gang member for me fed an emotional need, and for a lot of us, it fed an emotional need, a psychological need. For me, it was power. It was for a sense of importance, for for a sense of camaraderie, belonging, of agency, of all of those things. And being a gang member, in its own way, provides you with those attributes. Not, it's an illusion, but for a while you receive the benefits of that, and you're willing to do whatever you can and suffer whatever consequences and abuse yourself essentially by accepting the consequences of any horrific act you're going to commit on behalf of the gang in order to keep that feeling, that validation. And I mean, with Stockholm syndrome, it's essentially, someone who is taken and basically empathizes with their captors, and I mean, if you've been a gang member or even, associated with the lifestyle, I mean, the correlation is there. Like, I mean, you're essentially,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
you've essentially fallen in love with your captors, you know, because that's exactly what they are. And, who would like the instance you just talked about, right? Just for the act of benevolence and kindness, right? There's a punitive measure, a violent measure that's taken because these individuals decided to exercise some humanity. And I mean, to anyone else, that would be unacceptable. Be like, okay, I'm done with this shit. But the pull of what these individuals receive from being a gang member and from being a part of something is better than not having anything at all. And it's just crazy. It's just built on usury. Don't deal with the blacks. Don't do business with the blacks. Let us use you. you know, those people aren't shit. Let me use you. Let me abuse you. It's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
I remember, and this was the same dorm. And there was this older black gentleman. He was not involved in gangs. I think he had been there. I think he was there for like either like being drunk in public or DUI or something alcohol related. So, dude was cool. He used to sleep next on the next bunk over from me, and we would sit there, and chop it up and talk. And this one day, he we were talking, and he sat down on my bed, and I jumped up really quick because I didn't want any problems with my people. Like I got up
Yeah.
really quick, and then I was like, hey, I was like, hey, you can't sit on my bed, like I'm gonna have problems. And he looked kind of confused, like what are you talking about? It's kind of hard, explain to somebody. When they don't live that life. I mean, I didn't live that life, but I understood the rules. And he was like some
yeah.
regular dude, like that he was probably, I don't even think he was originally from LA. He was probably from somewhere like in like Mississippi or something. So yeah, so he was kind of confused, and then I kind of like had to tell him like, yeah, like I'm gonna get into like some, I'm gonna get myself into a wreck, by you sitting on my bed. You can't sit on my bed. We could talk and everything, but we gotta keep a certain distance, so I don't get myself into any problems. But yeah, it's kind of, and telling somebody that doesn't live that life, it's not easy. It's like, man, like it makes you feel like messed up, like really messed up, having to try to explain something like that to somebody that doesn't live that type of lifestyle.
But it's and it has this. Like I said, it's a manipulation ploy. It's a tool, used to mobilize people. Like, I mean, it kind of gets you. I mean, there is no kind of. It gets you in the mentality where you dehumanize people, because it's difficult for you to harm someone if you humanize them, right? So the thing is that if you create this narrative in someone's mind that these people aren't shit, and these people you know, you feed people with propaganda, and at the same time you keep them distant from from people, that they would otherwise find some common ground or commonality with, then there's not an emotional investment, and so you don't look at these people as someone who are worthwhile. So when the message says it's time to attack someone, then people won't revolt. You have the hearts and minds of the people, and people will just do what they're told because there isn't there isn't that emotional barrier or conscientiousness, if you will, to prevent them from doing so because they look at this individual as a human being and a potential friend. Like they don't want that. They need to be able to mobilize you to do what you need to do. People in the army, when they go out into the field, when their COs send them to go on missions, like, and they take an order, to do something, like they're trained in basic training to look at people, as targets to be neutralized. They don't even they're not even trained to look at people as people, because if they do, then they couldn't do what they do. They look at people as targets to be neutralized. They have all the objectives. They have all these buzzwords and words to shield them from the fact that these are people that you are doing this to, because the psyche couldn't, unless you're a sociopath or psychopath, but any well-adjusted human being, the psyche couldn't handle that and justify taking orders to harm someone else unless they had that barrier between themselves and their conscience. It's just the same principle.
Yeah, but at least with the military, you got some benefits coming your way, and in this lifestyle, you have nothing coming your way. Once they deem you not useful to them anymore, and they discard you like trash, you have no benefits. That's it. Yeah. It's funny that a lot of people don't realize that, like these personas and whatnot that they build up, don't belong to them. These nicknames, these gangs, they don't belong to them. Once they decide that you're no longer useful anymore, that's it. You're gonna end up somewhere else. So, and at least with the government, like as long as you don't get dishonorably discharged, you got some benefits coming your way, and the other
Wait a
lifestyle.
minute, James. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. I was a gang member since I was 15, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I came into prison at 23, and I did 20 years as a gang member in general population. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that I don't have a 401k built up somewhere for all of that?
Man, I
I don't
guess
have any retirement built.
I
No,
don't.
no retirement benefits. No,
You didn't read
nothing.
the small print, did you?
I don't even get like a gold watch. I don't even get a gold watch for that.
You didn't even get a 20-year pin.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, people don't understand that though, man. They don't understand that. It's like there's nothing, like all of the money that's touching your hands, and you know, you know, all of the work that's touching your hands and all of that, like, at the end of the day, like, that's, you're just a cog in a machine, you know? And the same way that you're a nut in a bolt, they can take you out and put another one in there. And the machine is going to keep right on moving.
Yeah, yeah. It's a sad reality right there, and I don't know what do you why do you think it because it's right in front of you, like you see it on a daily basis, on the main line where people are getting uh, uh washed up, or
Uh-huh.
for for doing these things, and everybody's quick to, like, oh, this dude's no good no more, like it's like he's a leopard, like nobody wants to be associated, they get ostracized, and then it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I mean, I mean, I've never been to prison, so to me, maybe it's kind of like hard to wrap my head around it. Um, but it's just, like you see people just getting cannibalized on a daily basis, and then when it's you, it's like, Like I've been a ghost. I've been like a super gangster. I've been doing everything that's been expected of me, and now it's my turn, and they just can't figure it out, and the answer was right in front of them the whole time. The whole time. It's not a secret. It's right in front of everybody's eyes. They just got to pay attention and you know accept that the reality
But I
of
mean,
go ahead.
but I think I think it's more. I think in what you said is absolutely true, right? But I think the question is of the why is more complex than that. I mean, because I mean, we just joked about not having a 401k plan, a retirement plan, all of that stuff. But the reality is, like, even 3 years ago, before I made the decision to stop with the gang stuff and to just to put all of that stuff away, to put that down, like I was conflicted, inside my mind, inside my
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
because the one question that kept reoccurring to myself is that if I walk away from all of this, then every sacrifice that I've made, everything that I have done, will have been for nothing. And I need this to mean something to me. It just can't be that all of this harm to people, all of this madness, all of this has been for nothing. I need this to mean something. So that's I'm pretty sure that there are people that are conflicted. They know the game. They know what's going on, just like I did. And but you keep throwing good money after bad. You know, because it's just like you go to Vegas and you start gambling, right? And you got $1,000, and you playing, you playing the five, you putting $5,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
and you tell yourself that you're only gonna lose like $300 or $400, but you lose that, and now you chasing, now you lose the whole $1,000, right? Now you should walk away, but you're chasing because you're like, okay, well, I need to get this back. Otherwise, I just came here and I'm gonna walk away with nothing. It's so you're willing to lose everything. That's how Vegas runs. That's how they make billions of dollars. Because of people that have that mentality, they're gonna chase it. They're like, I need to get something back. I need to make this mean something. I need to at least get that back. I'll at least get that 1,000 back. And I mean, so I can understand the sentiment.
Hey, right now that you said something, I did think about something. Then I'll comment on that when you call back, and it's about to cut off right now. Yep, at the 5:30 mark, it always cuts off, and Lamar, I'm gonna go ahead and let him know that you're in here. Appreciate the support. As soon as he calls me back, I'll go and let him know that you're tapping in. And after this call, this is gonna be our last call for the night. It's been pretty much a part time job for me today. I've been at it since 4 o'clock.
This call is now being
This
recorded.
is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right, Silas, thank you for calling back. And before I continue, I definitely don't want to forget to mention that Derek is in here.
What's up, big bro?
And
Yo, bro.
he did put a comment on here. I'm thinking it was towards when I was speaking about when I had that older gentleman sit on my bed, and Derek put don't be told twice. Oh yeah, I definitely didn't want to be told twice, because I didn't want to go to to that white wall in the back that ended up with a lot of blood stains night after night.
Yeah. For real.
And
Yeah.
it's funny the way they do it.
For real.
It's you never see it coming. They always tell you, "Hey, we're gonna we gotta go put hands on somebody," and then but little do you know that the person they're gonna be putting hands on is you. They're just gonna make it seem like they're gonna use you to go put hands on somebody else, and then yeah, they're gonna get that person that they're making it seem like they're gonna be attacking, and next thing they're gonna be jumping on you. So it's cold out there. It's really really cold.
Well, Exhibit said it best. When it's your time to go, you're the last to know. For real.
but
Like I've
go ahead.
seen probably like 100 times on the yard, man, where somebody is about to get got, and they're just walking around with the people who are gonna do them willy nilly, and everyone on the yard knows. And I'm sitting there like, how doesn't he know that this is about to happen? Like everyone knows. All of us know that this is going to happen. We're staring at you, walking with these two dudes around the yard, and you don't know that this is about to happen to you. Like, it's a trip, man.
It's a cold game. It's a cold game.
Gotta
But
have your button up, man.
so I'm gonna touch on something that you said. Well, not something you said, but it's something they said that made me think about something else. So yeah, I could understand, why some people decide not to walk away, because a lot of that stuff, follow you out to the street. If you decide to walk away, then pretty much everybody that you've known, growing up, your friends or your so-called friends, your homies and whatnot, that's it. It's over. You come back to the street. Most of those people are not gonna mess with you anymore. And then if you live in this neighborhood that you claim, it's gonna affect your family too, because obviously you can't parole. You can't go back to this place anymore. So yeah, I could see a lot of
Nah,
people, not wanting to leave because of that, because obviously it's gonna affect them. It's gonna affect their families, or they got brothers or sisters that are also part of the same neighborhood. Then yeah, they don't want to. It'll be like a slap across the face on their family members too. So not only does it affect them, it's gonna
yeah,
affect other people around them. So yeah, like that, could definitely see, somebody not wanting to walk away.
yeah, and I mean, just on a personal note, speaking for myself, I mean, so much of who I had been was built up on the persona that I had built as a gang member, and so being a gang member actually authenticated and legitimized who I was as a person. That was my identity. So, I mean, if I walk away from these guys, then who the hell am I? Who am I? I've been this person, this persona that I constructed since I spent years, decades, since I was 15 building this persona. So like if I mean and I mean I'd be lying if I sat here and said that that this thing that I constructed didn't have benefits. I'd grown to be feared, you know, and I what I thought was respect, but was just fear. And being a gang member I'd gotten a prestige. I wasn't just a regular run-of-the-mill gang member. I was a hyper-violent gang member that hurt people. So so my reputation was known. So it was, I was kind of the person that that you don't want to mess with. So that in and of itself had allowed me to network with different people, because of the reputation that I gained, and within the black ethnicity and within the other races as well. So I mean, there's some social currency as well. It's more complex than just you than things aren't adding up. It's more complex than just an academic question. They're, they're there's a lot to unpack and deconstruct when we talk about the reasons why people stay in, like, in an abusive relationship. We see something going on like that, and we're like, hey, all she has to do is just leave. But it's more complex than just just packing up your stuff and leaving. Sometimes things aren't as simple as 1 plus 1 is 2. Sometimes things are tied up in knots. So
Yeah, since you put it like that, yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right. And then I guess it goes back to at the beginning of the time or whenever the system in California started, because I'm pretty sure um it was a different world back then. I'm pretty sure it was like every man for
This
himself.
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And at some point, everything started getting structured for one reason, but it ended up turning into something else that they ended up using as a tool, to control the masses.
absolutely, absolutely. And you know as well as I do. Nobody over there is over there. Like, free enterprise is a lie over there. Nobody's over there freaking working for themselves. You know, it's just not happening. Just like Uncle Sam, you go to work and you collect a paycheck, and Uncle Sam gets his. Cats are getting taxed over there. You know, so it's just there's no real autonomy over there. You know, there are more rules than hell. Hell, Southerners have more rules and well, not Southerners, I wouldn't say, but hell, Northerners have more rules than the freaking Title 15. So I mean, you know, when I went up to Salinas, when I was up in Salinas Valley back in the day, like, I used to listen to them and all the things they couldn't do and couldn't, just wow, you know, like, what's the point of being a gang member? Like, I thought being a gang member was like an outlaw or something. Like, you guys have more stringent, you guys have more rules than these cops do.
Yeah, I've heard some of those stories where they have to write some essays, multiple pages, and I'm like, man, I'll be like,
Man,
if I came to prison and then I got to be writing some essays, like what? Like, I didn't come to prison to write. I came to gangbang.
like I dropped out of school. I was ditching school. I would go check in for homeroom and leave. Do you think I'm gonna write you a paper? Like, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah, so but yeah, they have a pretty hard program, and it's just it's crazy. But that's how you keep control. You have to control the hearts and minds of the masses. Otherwise, I think it's just gonna break down. It's gonna be like the Wizard of Oz. When you get a peek behind the curtain. Like, and then the whole thing is in shambles. It falls apart. So yeah.
I don't know, but for this new generation, I just really don't see them cutting the mustard when it comes to that. So, good luck to them because they're definitely built different now than they were 20 years ago. It's a whole.
Nah.
Uh,
But you get ready in the next 10 to 15 years for the deconstruction of gangland culture as at least as we have grown up knowing it. Like like you said, like these kids now, like they don't have the steel in them to do the stuff that Generation X has done. It's just not in them. They're built different. They see the world different, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a great thing. But yeah, over here on this yard, when I came over here, I thought, okay, this is pretty much like going to be like a retirement home. Like, there are nothing but kids over here, James. Kids trying to walk around looking like posturing like they tough. Like if you want to be tough, like the tough guy shit is like right over that fence, man. Like, you can go really, really, really. They can use you over there. But that's the one thing that's it was kind of strange to me, in coming over here to see all of these young I mean, like 20-year-olds, 20 somethings over here. You know, it's more young people over here than people my age or older. You know, so yeah, it's definitely changing. You know, that culture is in for a real change. I mean, I don't know. I see I see in the next 10 to 15 years, I see more drug addicts than gang members, to be honest with you.
You know what? And I think when the CDC started this whole thing where they started creating these SNY yards, to give people an outlet. When they started this, I'm pretty sure they planned this with with the mindset of that they were gonna do the long game, you know, pretty much you know seeing how many people they could get over to that side to pretty much unbalance things where the main line was gonna be uh, I guess overpopulate or not what am I looking for here? The numbers on the SNY side were gonna outnumber the ones on the main line. So I'm pretty sure whoever came up with this idea, they were looking at it in a way that nobody else 15, 20 years ago would understand. But if you look at it now, they're destroying they're destroying the main line from the inside out.
Yeah, I think I don't. I think that this. I think that they built the whole SNY model to deconstruct gangland culture, but not in the sense of some kind of like rehabilitative measure. I think it was done to kind of separate people from the herd. You know, um, when lions hunt, they separate you know gazelles from the herd. And then they make their kill. So in that sense, you have if you accost a southerner blood, a crib on the line, like there are going to be a CO does that. There are going to be ramifications. If the whole thing can explode. Because there's a uniformity. You know, over here it's different. I mean, although you have the element, it is you pretty much have a sense of autonomy. So any decision that you make is on you. So I mean, if you start mouthing off to the cop and they slam you on your neck, I'm gonna just keep it moving and keep walking. Like it's not my business. To whereas, 5 years ago, I'm walking out of the dining hall and they stop one of my homeboys and I'm stopping right with him. And now there's 10 of us standing there while he's getting searched and they're telling us to keep walking and we ain't listening because if it goes bad right there, then it's gonna go bad for everybody. So they can deconstruct like the threat in that.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Well, at least I believe that's what they thought they could do, but gangs formed over here, and then it's just right back to square one.
Yeah. And with that, I know she just let us know that she's about to cut us off, and for the night, this is gonna be our last call because it's about to be 10 o'clock, and definitely gotta put down the 5-year-old because she does go to school tomorrow. But yeah, I want to go ahead and thank you for your time, Silas, and we're definitely gonna be tapping in this week. We're gonna be going live, as long as you got some availability, and I'll go ahead and reach out to
Absolutely,
you via the app, or you could reach out to me, and we'll work out some days and times that you could come back on and share some of your thoughts and some of your wisdom with us.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for having me, and
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Uh, they got us. All right, then, guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to these conversations, and we'll definitely be on sometime this week. I'm not sure if it'll be tomorrow, but what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start putting up uh the lives and with the time of the day that they're gonna be going live to kind of give you guys a heads up. Normally, I normally don't like to do that just because sometimes like today I was planning to go live at 8 p.m. Obviously that didn't end up working, and I ended up switching the time to 8:30, because sometimes there is certain things that'll prevent somebody from calling me, whether the GTL system is having issues, or if something happens in the yard, they might not be able to get to their tablet, and things of that nature. So normally in the past, that's why I would refrain from setting them up. But I'm gonna go ahead and try and check how it works, and hopefully we're able to or I'm able to stick to the times that I plan on going on lives. If something happens to come up, or I'm not getting a call, then I'll just go ahead and readjust the time, or if it's taking longer than what I anticipated, then I'll just go ahead and cancel it. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to work out some days where I'll be either coming on live, like either maybe 2-3 times a week at a set time and day, just to kind of get I guess into like a routine, if you will. So with that being said, I really appreciate you guys listening to us, and stay tuned for the future streams that we got coming your way. You guys go ahead and have a good